Hello and welcome to the Clarity Confessions. I am Cailen, Ascher, your host, and this is the place for clarity, inspiration, and business secrets from top female entrepreneurs. And today on the show, we have Misty Lavertu. She is a lifestyle and branding architect. She teaches bold, passionate women how to redefine tradition, accomplish the extraordinary, and build rock-solid confidence. It's about living a life where having it all is truly celebrated, and through vision, inspiration, and purpose, dreams become reality. Misty is one of those rare individuals that we are so lucky to connect with on this show who is really living her passion every single day. She defines her purpose as impacting lives, and she believes that when you are living a life you love, people can't help but remember you. Misty, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to learn more about you. And so why don't we kick it off with that? How did you get started on this entrepreneurial path that you're now on?
It started, you know what? Honestly, it started when I was a kid. I always knew that I didn't want to do what everyone else did. I always had my own idea of how things should be. And just over time, it kind of evolved. I loved helping people. I loved empowering women. And it just all literally fell into place. And it was really just kind of a moment of, do I stay with the 9 to 5 that is the norm? Or do I just, bust out, break out, and really follow my true passion? And that's what I did. That was 6 years ago.
Oh, that's so fantastic. Good for you. So I want to kick it off with some rapid fire questions. Are you ready for them?
Absolutely.
Okay. So when did you get clarity about your current business?
Last January, this year, actually, 2016.
Mm-hmm. So can you describe your business in 10 words or less?
Creating a legacy that will live for generations.
Oh, that's good. Well done. So why do you love your work?
Oh, it's all about empowering women. For me, that's 100%.
Mm-hmm. And so what makes you feel the most successful in your business?
I love that question because without a doubt, when I have a client just out of the blue, whether it's a post, a text, a phone call, whatever it is, and they say to me, because of you, whatever it is, fill in the blank, because of you, because I know you, because we work together, because you helped me get clear on this, that to me that's number one.
Mm. What personal practices or self-care do you make time for regularly?
Personal development is number one. I can attribute, I would say, 75% of my success to really, really becoming a master of personal development. I'm absolutely addicted to that. I also really focus on having that alone time, journaling. I'm really big on the journaling. I love going and doing the mani-pedis. I do all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But really having time to reflect on what I'm doing and where I want to go. I'm usually reading, 2 or 3 books at a time. I'm not one that reads one book and finishes it and then goes on to the next. Like right now I have 3 books on the go. So to me, it's really about being a lifelong learner. And that to me is the biggest thing I can do for myself.
That's fantastic. I do the same thing. I have like 18 books on my nightstand and I'm probably in the middle of 3 or 4 of them.
That's awesome.
So a couple more questions for you and then we'll move into conversation. So what is the best thing about being an entrepreneur?
The best thing is the freedom. Being able to do what I want, when I want, and, being there for my kids, my family. It's true freedom.
And what is the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur?
Staying motivated on a daily basis. This one's tough. There are those afternoons that, I could just go take a little nap, close my eyes for 10 minutes, or, just shut everything down. But it's really about staying motivated, self-motivated on a daily basis, I think.
Okay, and last question of the rapid fire round. What is one word that sums up your business mission?
Legacy.
That's a beautiful word. I don't think I've had anyone use that yet.
Very cool.
Yeah. So you mentioned, I'll just jump on this quickly. You mentioned that there's 3 books you're in the middle of. Do you mind sharing what they are?
Absolutely. For the probably third time, I'm reading The Desire Map again.
That's so good.
It is. And every time I read it, there's different things that I'm picking up from it. Even her voice is like, I'm listening to it on Audible, and her voice is just so calming and soothing. And I think part of the reason why I keep going back to that is because that's kind of that book that's almost like a meditative, So The Desire Map, I'm reading Millionaire Mindset by Grant Cardone. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him or not. He's very black and white. I think for a lot of people, you either like him or you don't like him, but he's very to the point, straight shooter, and really like the information that he shares. And then Daring Greatly by Brene Brown.
Oh, Brene Brown. She's awesome.
She's really an inspiration to me. And again, she's an author that I find myself always going back to. So those are the 3 that I have on the go right now.
Those are great ones. I approve.
Excellent.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you're a mom, and I'm a mom, and I think it's always interesting just hearing how you find a harmony between life and business. Like, what does that look like for you on a daily basis if we were going to take a glimpse into your world?
What I can tell you is the way it looks today is very different than it did 6 years ago. And I really believe it is going to continue to evolve as time goes on. My daughter is 10 and she's a dancer. We live at the dance studio 5 days out of the 7. And my son is 7 and he's a hockey player. So that's usually 3 days a week. So we're busy with all the after school activities, of course. But I try as soon as I get the kids up and out the door for school, that's when I, get down to business. Oftentimes I'm up before the kids are even up, and I do a lot of my journaling and kind of that self-practice, self-care before anybody else is awake in the morning. I don't know, there's something about being the first one up, drinking your cup of coffee, knowing that you just have that time.
Those are my favorite hours of the day. Sometimes I love being with people too, but
it's different. It's a different feeling than doing that even mid-afternoon. Like it really, I don't know. It's almost like a secret little club, it's your secret time sort of.
The world's quiet at those hours. I love it.
Absolutely. And then I get the kids off, and then the computer comes on, and I am focused on, daily business, different activities. I usually try and get the least favorite of my activities done right off the bat. And so that by, as the day goes on and it's closer to pickup time after school, I can sort of take it or leave it if I need to wrap up sooner. And then I pick up the kids and we are, off for activities. And then again, we do activities, and then once the kids are in bed, and then I'm back on the computer. So, I mean, it's chaos. It's beautiful chaos. It's, it really works for us. The kids know the routine. They know that, if mom's on the phone or if mom's working, or they're good about finding things to do, and they're busy doing their own things. Again, it's like I said, it's evolving as they're getting older. It's different than it used to be. It used to be just craziness. But you know what? When you're determined and you want something, you find a way to make it work, right?
Yeah, I'm believing that more and more, that you can make anything work if you want it enough.
Absolutely.
And so right now, about how many hours a week are you working on your business then?
Well, right now I am putting more time in than I normally would, just simply because I have some things that I'm launching for, January 1st. So I'm putting in a lot more hours than I typically would, just because I want to make sure I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and everything is, in line and ready to go. But I would say, on average, probably 4 to 5 hours a day
Mm.
But, it's so funny because people say, oh, really, you work that much? And I'm like, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
I love what I do. I love the people that I talk to and that I work with. And I just feel really, really fortunate to be able to do what I do and love what I do.
So you mentioned that you felt like you got clarity just within like the last year or so. So
Yes.
what were you doing before? What was the business? What shape was it taking before that it needed to evolve with that clarity that came through?
Well, I was on the same path, but I was definitely holding myself back. And I am a self-recovering perfectionist. And so for me, everything that I always knew exactly what I wanted, but I'd hold myself back from just going and doing it instead of, I'd have to make sure everything was perfect. And I mean, we all know the saying, done is better than perfect, but that I just used to roll my eyes at that because I thought, no, it needs to be perfect before I do this. And, weeks would go by, months would go by, a year would go by, and I'd have made a little bit of progress, but not anything significant. And then last January, my mom passed away. And we were at her funeral. Now, my mom has had her own business, and she's been an entrepreneur my entire life. So I've watched her in action for 38 years. And she was an incredibly hard worker, and she just really created something very, very special for her and many, many other people. And it was the day of her funeral, and my sister and I were just upstairs at the church, kind of getting everything together to leave. And this woman walked up to us and she said, girls, I'm so sorry for the loss of your mother. She was such an exceptional woman. What a legacy she has left for the two of you. And honestly, it was like, it took my breath away. It was like everything around us just stopped. And it was like this light went on and I went, that's my purpose right there. That is my purpose. I need to continue doing what she has done all her life. I can't just let that go with her. It's now my mission to continue building what she's built. And that's why one of my taglines is tradition redefined, because, for 70 years, she did it one way. Now the legacy has been carried on, passed on. So, redefining things doesn't mean rerouting and changing everything. It just means maybe, tweaking something here, tweaking something there, adding something, or maybe subtracting something. But I want to carry on with all the traditions that she always had. And so that was the moment for me. It was so crystal clear. And so the progress that I've made now, I would even say I had that clarity so much. And there were so many other things that happened. But even over the last 6 months, the progress that I've made in the last 6 months is probably 10 times what I've made in the last 5 years.
Wow.
Just because of that one moment.
So when you were saying you were holding yourself back, if someone's feeling like that, what would your advice be to them?
Find out why. Talk to somebody, whether it's a coach, a mentor, a friend, find out why. I didn't know while I was doing it that I was doing it. I didn't recognize that my need for perfection, and not only in the business, but for every single aspect of my life, completely type A in the sense that this is how this needed to be done. And could we vary from that? Absolutely not. It was completely out of the question. And that's how I was with my business as well. And I, for years, thought I could do it all on my own. I never had a coach. I never had a mentor. I just thought, you know what? I know everything there is to know about everything. Why would I need to pay somebody to tell me the things that I already know? But it's so different when you personally are working with somebody. Usually more than they do, but you need to work with somebody that's more advanced than you. So it was really when I started getting my coaches, getting my mentors, and them really kind of pointing out the fact that, you know what, this is really good. Why is this not out to the world? And I'd say, well, because I want to change this or do this. And they'd say, are you kidding me? You need to get that out now. And then I started going, well, maybe I'm selling myself short. Maybe I'm not realizing that what I have really is good. And so, I would just recommend to people, like, if you don't feel like you're moving as fast as you want, or if you feel that there's some type of block there, you need to talk to somebody, get someone, even if you get somebody to just do a once over of your business, let them get in and look at what you're doing, and for them to say, just to get other eyes on it even. I think, well, I know for me, it made tons of difference. Because, it's like looking in the mirror. When we look in the mirror at ourselves all the time, we see the same thing. But somebody else sees something completely different when they look at you the first time. It's the same thing with our business.
What is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received that's helped you on your path?
Well, like I said, number one, done is better than perfect. Don't quit. As an entrepreneur, I mean, we've all had days that, we question ourselves, we question what we're doing, we question if we're even sane. Just don't quit, and always show up and, do more, give more than is expected.
So what are some things that are on the horizon for you and your business? Now that you have this clarity, you're really feeling like you're in your zone, what's on the horizon for you?
Oh, I have so many things. So what has evolved is that VIP Creators, which is the name of my company, is really going to be the umbrella company. I have so many things that I'm going to be doing underneath that. And kind of my word for 2017 is expansion. So I'm really looking at, I have summits booked. I have some speaking engagements booked. I have, in January, I actually have 2 magazine, one that's coming out January 18th is called Women of Achievement. And so it's a whole, article, it's a whole branding piece basically in the magazine. I really want people to feel what I have been feeling over the last 6 years. So one of the programs that I'm launching next week actually is called Chaos to Calm, because I really feel that is what I've lived for the last 6 years. So I have, different programs that I'm developing that will be coming out in the new year, different summits that I'm going to be speaking in. My goal for early fall is a VIP exclusive retreat. And I want it to be a weekend where people experience the same feeling as like a great big hug. So it's not just going to be, for entrepreneurs. It's going to be for everyone that wants to feel the true VIP lifestyle where, they want to build up their confidence, where I have so many fun, exciting things planned where they really feel like, you know what, I deserve it. I want women to feel like, yes, I'm worth it. I truly can have it all. It really does exist. And oftentimes as moms and wives and business owners, we put all of ourselves into those things, and we oftentimes kind of put ourselves last. And I want to just remind people that, it's okay for them to say, I want more, I'm worth more, I want my voice to be heard. And I'm just so excited about this retreat. I'm really focused on the whole expansion portion for 2017.
Yeah, it sounds like you have an amazing plan for expansion in place. So many amazing things coming up. So you mentioned, that concept of having it all. What does that... Yes. I mean, that's something we hear, it's like, oh, you can have it all. Don't put limitations on yourself. But like, what does that mean to you? What does having it all mean?
To me, it means truly feeling like you're living your purpose, that every piece to the puzzle is there. You may not have the puzzle put together yet, but all the pieces are on the table. And do you want to, some people, they've gone to college, they've worked really hard, they work full time, they adore their careers, they feel, very successful and fulfilled in what they're doing. And that's fantastic. But maybe they feel like there's another portion of their life that, isn't quite as fulfilling. And, or vice versa, right? Maybe there's an entrepreneur out there that really wants to live the life of freedom, but maybe they have mom guilt, right? I mean, I went through that too, the mom guilt of building the business and what about my kids, or, or what about a girl's weekend away? Like, when was the last time, you and 5 of your friends just hopped on an airplane and flew somewhere without somebody saying, oh my gosh, she just ditched her children, and what about work? And, or somebody saying, I want to go out, and maybe it's even buying that designer handbag, just feeling like you actually are worth it. So for me, it's about, I love my life. I love my family. I love what I do. And I want to just put it all inside this big bubble. And I really do believe that people can have that. I absolutely, with everything in me, believe that that is possible, that it's out there if people are willing to take it. And that's really what I want people to understand. I hear so many times, oh, I'm just not sure how I can afford that. And it literally just breaks my heart when I hear that, because the words should be, that's so exciting. Let me figure out how we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And so, part of having it all to me is having that mindset that says, yeah, you know what? Absolutely. I'm worth it. I'm worth the limo. I'm worth the red carpet. I'm worth the, whatever it is. I mean, I think it's going to be personal to everyone, but just truly understanding that, you know what, whatever we want, we can have. If we can create it in our minds, we can create it in reality.
Oh, let's leave that there. That sounds really good. If we can create it in our minds, we can create it in our reality. That's fantastic. So if what you've been sharing is resonating with people, where can we connect with you, Misty?
Right now, I'm mostly on Facebook, I would say. I mean, I have my website, and that is just vipcreators.com. And then on Facebook, I'm usually hanging out around there, and that is just Misty Lavertu, Lavertu, /VIP creators, or at VIP creators. And that's usually where people will find me.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. It has been such a pleasure chatting with you, and thank you for sharing your wisdom and your stories. It's been wonderful.
I feel so privileged to have this time with you and all your listeners, and I'm just really excited for the new year for everyone, and I just hope that everybody really goes out and lives every day, because every moment is going to lead to their legacy. And I really hope that everybody just chooses joy. Yeah.
Choosing joy. That would be a nice gift to give all of ourselves,
wouldn't it?
Right?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Misty. It's been a pleasure. Take care.
Thank you. You too.